How would your friends describe you?
It's interesting. I feel like my personality has changed a lot in the last couple years, and so that's a tricky one. I would say gregarious, unconventional, confusing. I don't know. Kind. I think people generally agree that I'm kind.
What's the biggest thing you've learned this year?
At the age of 18, I placed a baby boy for adoption. 5 years ago, within a week of his 17th birthday, we were reunited, his family and I. 6 months ago, he moved in with me with his parents' blessing, in the hopes that I could provide what they were failing too, because he's in crisis. His mom had a stroke when he was 5 or 6, and she's cognitively and physically severely impaired. And so he's been raised by a stressed out, overstretched father. And he's been kind of simultaneously indulged and neglected. And as a result, he's got depression and some, suicidal ideation, and he cuts, and he's got this debilitating video game and internet addiction. And anyway, so he moved in with me, and the idea was that I would kind of help him to graduate into adulthood because he's 22. And there was some growth, but he just settled into sitting in front of a screen most of the waking hours and being pretty resistant to my efforts to help him grow. I just didn't have the time to give him the structure and attention that he needed for the degree of intervention that he needed. So about a week ago, well, I let him know 3 weeks in advance, but about a week ago, it was go time for the ultimatum of either go into wilderness therapy and then a failure to launch program, or go it on your own. And I got his dad on board with that plan as well. He checked into the program, walked out, checked into the program again, went to some pretty desperate lengths and pulled some antics that got him kicked out. So then he, was homeless for about 4 or 5 days. Did more adulting in that time than he'd done in his entire life. So I'm learning just a tremendous amount through this whole experience. I'm relearning a lot of stuff, and I'm learning things on a deeper level that I thought I already had down. For instance, I know that pushing people only invites resistance, but where I am now, I'm just so desperate for him to course correct that I'm just pushing him away like crazy, And so I'm having to relearn some things like that, and I'm just trying to take the advice that I give him constantly to have the humility to learn, Honestly, that's been my big thing, is just the advice that I'm giving him, I need to apply it. In terms of taking care of himself, sleeping right, eating right. I'm not doing any of those things in this crisis, but I'm telling him to do it because I know that he'll think more clearly and he'll have better mood regulation and all these things. So that's a doozy of a question for me. I mean, I'm learning so much and it's so uncomfortable.
So if you could leave any wisdom with the world today, what would it be?
The temptation comes to check out and uninvest, to get tired and to feel defeated, and to quit. And when we start biding our time, the people who we love and we're trying to influence will likely do the same. But when we're enthusiastic and energetic and full of hope and even just ignorant faith, you know what I mean? Just then the people who we're around will pick up on that. And just perspective to remember that that miracles are real, and that things can turn around dramatically, and just keeping that perspective when it's taking time and having patience with the process and not giving up on the first or second or third or sixth or 13th attempt. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.